I am excited to be here this morning. This is my last message on spiritual hunger, and this morning, since last night, I've been thinking how I do it, and this morning totally changed what I have prepared for you guys. So I'm going to be touching something else, and this is what happened. In this season, the greatest gift we could have is flexibility. Especially in the season that we are right now, that we don't know where we're going or what we do. And somebody said, put the other day a picture or a video of this is how pastors are leading churches right now. I don't know if you saw, it's like a bus and going up and down, and we don't even know where we're going because there's no manual in the Bible not in the Bible, anywhere to tell us what to do in this time of crisis. And I just want to tell you, we're doing the best we can. We're doing the best we can with the best we have. And finally, it's up to you guys. It's up to everybody right here to keep themselves protected and protect themselves. And that's why if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. Whatever you feel it is protection for you, you do it. You better do it. It's not about faith or lack of faith or abundance of faith or anything like that. It's about wisdom and about what God is doing and saying to you, in special this season. But right now, in this whole crisis, I've been overwhelmed. I have to tell you, I've been overwhelmed. Yesterday was a very hard day for me, very hard. I went home and I was just gone. But I have my cousin here. I want him to enjoy. I took him last night to Josue's. So we got some jalapenos, some sauce. Some spicy, and that brought energy back to my body. I got a fajitas. So, but I was just overwhelmed. My way home, my way to Columbus, I had to call a couple of people because I was just crying. This morning I went to my office and I started crying. I didn't want to hug anybody, kiss anybody, be with anybody, and that's not me. I love the best time in service, and the best time for Sunday morning is not the time I get to preach. It's the time I get before service and after service that I get to hug you and kiss you. For me, that's the best time. Even if I don't have to preach, just seeing your face and get to hug you and kiss you, it's my day. That's my day. That's the only thing I need here. I don't need even to preach here. But I was just back there and I was just trying to fight with God. What should I preach and everything? And he brought me to a psalm that has been in my life. And I've preached this a couple of times, even in Wednesday night, a month or 2 months ago. But he said, I want you to go ahead and preach about Psalm 23. And now I know you all know that. When I first came to church, when I was a baby, when I grew up, the first psalm I learned was this. My great-grandma, I didn't like to go to church on Saturday nights, so my parents left me with my grandma, and she was the one responsible to teach me Psalms 23. So I learned this psalm in Spanish because of my great-grandma. So, but every time I go through this, I normally repeat this, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not fear, or I lack nothing. And I go and I start repeating, but instead, one day I start, let me go deep. Because I know this song because somebody taught me and I'm repeating it, but I want to know what David was saying when he wrote this psalm. In the moment that David was writing, like last week I said, when he said and I don't know, it was I don't know, he said, I remember how it used to be. He was not preaching, or was not excited because he was hungry for more. He was excited. He was saying, I want what I lost. So I wanted to go deep in what David was saying in Psalm 23. And as I was reading, there is 104 words in this psalm. It's only, I think, 6 verses. And in this 104 words, there are 12 things that I see. In these 12 names of God in this psalm. There are 12 names of God in this psalm. Right now we call him Jesus, we call him God, we call him Holy Spirit. But at that time they were calling God according to the revelation they had about him. So he healed me. He said, oh, God can heal. So God is God the healer. If I had nothing and he provided me, he is God the provider. So it was to describe the name, because they thought that God was not enough to describe such a person and being such a greatness, holiness. So they normally was saying God, the healer, according to the necessity they had and the provision they just got. That makes sense? So I want to go through what David said about God in this psalm and the 12 names of God that he added to this psalm as we move forward. Are you ready for that? Yes. Come on, give me some. Help me. Come on. Okay. I'm going to be reading King James version. This is very fun to me. It's not pretty easy. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not. Yeah. And there's a different, and King, there's another one version that says, I shall not fear, or I lack nothing. He makes me to lay down in green pastures. I love my yard. I really love my yard. And when I had to destroy my yard to get that septic tank out there, I was depressed. I was driving home and saying, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want, because I enjoy. There are two things I didn't have in Cuba. It was a big yard and a fireplace. So those things are holy to me. So nobody touched that. Even when Joel and Sarai and all the people, everybody that goes to my house, John Carlos and Betsy were there and said, somebody going to have a baby bold, because if you park again in my yard. So I don't like anybody parking in my front yard and everything, because I protect that yard, because I love it. I never had that in Cuba. So he made me lay down. He made me lay down in green pastures. He led me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. I love that. He led me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I love that part. I will fear not evil. For your rod and your staff comfort me. I love that. You prepare a table. That's why we have a table. That prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. I love the other part. It says overflowing. It's the same thing, but I love that overflowing word. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What a great way to end its psalm. So I want to go ahead and start with the first verse. He said, the Lord is what? My shepherd. So it is not a revelation of who the Lord is, but who I am. Who am I? So if the Lord is my shepherd, I need to act and function my life as a sheep. So the Lord is my shepherd. So I include it is saying that I am a sheep. So I lack nothing, or I fear nothing, or I shall not fear. So the Lord is my shepherd, and I'm going to try to translate this the way they taught me in the seminary in Cuba in Spanish. So I don't know how to say this in a pronunciation in English so you can get it, but I can type that later and you can say, okay, that's what you meant. In Spanish, the way they translate the Hebrew was Jehovah Ra. He's my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing, or I shall not fear, or lack nothing. Is Jehovah Jireh. He's my provider. I like that. So I love this part because, provision, it is something that we link with fear. In the whole thing with coronavirus, one of the main point was, I don't want to get sick. But the second point, how do I gonna make my salary, my payments if I don't work? So it was so many things that happened at the same time. We were not ready. Sometimes you get ready when they say, we're going to fire you in 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks to go ahead and get a new job or something like that. But suddenly, this whole crisis came and took you by surprise. And you were like, I don't really know what to do. There were people that were fast and they're used to change. And they will and everything. But people like us that sometimes we sit down and think about what's going on and we process, it took us by surprise. And in the point of what's fear? What is fear? You know, 90% of, I can even say 95% of what we fear will never happen to you. So precaution is totally different than fear. That's why I said, somebody said to me, no, if you wear a mask, or if you do this, if you wash your hands, if you hand sanitizers, that's fear. No, it is not fear. When it's fear, it is a different feeling. Precaution, you know what? There is a difference between fear and tempting God. And faith, no, and there's a difference between faith and tempting God. That makes sense? So faith without a word from God, it is tempting God. If God didn't say it to you and you're operating illegally, and that's not faith, because faith, it has to have a background, has to have a someone to back you up. So the only way that God will back you up is with the word of God, standing and say, He said it, that He will do it, and you said it to me, so I'm keeping my faith, but I shall not fear because He's my shepherd. That doesn't mean that as a sheep, I don't have my responsibility to be near the shepherd and obey what the shepherd is saying to me. So if you don't obey the shepherd, you're becoming a deer. You know what? Some people, that's why, you know what? I was so excited to see in the beginning. I was not excited, I was concerned, but after that I was excited. In the beginning of the whole crisis that we have to move online, there were a couple of pastors that called me. They were really concerned. Pastor, are you making it? Is the church making it financially and things like that? And one of the first scriptures that he said to me in the beginning of coronavirus was, I am your shepherd and you shall not fear, and nothing will lack in your house. Nothing will lack. And I said, okay, I don't know what's going on. This is the first service. And as we move forward, we saw an increase in giving. Online was increasing giving, that even here at church, we were not just making it, we were overflowing. And we were overflowing because it was in the time of crisis, people say, I'm going to keep giving, and I'm going to keep giving, because there is a revelation to I lack nothing. You know what? There are people that they are so poor that the only thing they have is money. There are people that are so poor that the only thing they have is money. And there are people that are so rich that the only thing they don't have is money. Jehovah is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. The second part I love the second verse. He makes me is not an option. He makes me rest. And I was not getting rest. And I'm still not getting rest. That's why, you know, when you don't rest, you get overwhelmed. And you know, the strategy of the enemy, it is make you restless. That you don't feel you need to rest. That you don't feel you need to take a break. That you don't feel you don't even need a vacation, because I'm powerful. I can keep going. And tiredness is the first step to get into the place of stress, and then get into, you know what? What is the greatest strategy of the enemy? Fear will bring stress. Stress will lower your immune system, and with your immune system in low, you are the perfect target. He makes me lay down in green pastures, in my yard. He lead me beside still waters. And I love this part, is Jehovah Shalom. The Shalom of God. The Shalom of God. You know what? In Psalm chapter 46, verse 10, it says, He says, be still and know that I am, what? Be still and know that I am God. You know what? There is something that I really like. And Papa Leif mentioned this in so many of his preachings. You notice you have authority over the storm, that you can sleep. If you can sleep through the storm of lacking of finances, you have authority over that storm. If you can still sleep through the whole mess that's going on, you have authority over the storm. If you stay up all night thinking about what's going to happen with my job, what's going to happen with my daughter, what's going to happen with my husband is using drugs and alcohol, what's going to happen with my wife that she's doing this, what's going to happen with this, if that's taking your, everything that takes your rest come from the enemy. The Lord will never make you tired. Even if you serve our church and that's making you tired, there's some part of where you're serving that is not aligned with what God said to you. Because every time God says to you, it has to come from a place of rest, from a place of satisfaction. If I finish working here and I go home tired and I don't even have time for my daughters, for my wife, that what I did right here was not from God. Everything that comes from pressure will come from the enemy, because pressure will lead you to stress, and the stress will lead you to craziness. But the Lord, He makes me rest. For the Lord, it is not, even the Lord rest. The Bible said that the Lord, when He made everything, He said everything was good. Let me rest. To set up a statement that you need to rest. And resting is not laying down and be lazy. You guys are too quiet. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just telling you this. Are you resting through the season? Because I'm not. This is not a preaching that I'm doing for you. Preaching to me. I'm not resting through the season. That's why I'm overwhelmed. That's why I'm overwhelmed. That's why I'm overthinking. Because I'm not resting. I'm not resting. I overthink, what if. And in that, it's out in pressure. And when I went home yesterday, I felt that I was just like about to die. That was it. I was just gone. That's it. I can't handle anymore. I can't handle it anymore. I can't handle it. This morning, I can't handle it anymore. I'm tired. Weight, the heaviness. And I went to my office. I would just start crying this morning, crying. I took my piano and started playing, and nothing was bringing me the peace that I needed. He said, go read the Psalms 23. And said, okay, He's my shepherd. He makes me rest. If I'm not resting, if I'm not abiding in rest, if I'm not even working from rest, not God's. It's not His. He will never make you tired. If you are burned out, it's because of your decisions. Don't blame the ministries. Don't blame the activities. Don't blame the whole thing. No. Beyond everything we ask you to do here, beyond everything we ask for volunteers here, if that's affecting your time of rest, I'm not telling you that. This is the thin line, very thin line that I don't want to cross. To a point, okay, I'm not going to do nothing because I'm going to be resting the whole day. Resting is not being lazy. Resting, it is working from the pleasure of God, and the satisfaction of doing what you're called to do, and the satisfaction to do what you're called to do in the measure you are called to do in the season you are. Did that make sense? This is deep, and I'm trying to translate it in my mind. It is the calling to do what you're called to do in the season you are. If the season you are doesn't allow you to go beyond that door, don't waste time and energy to push forward and lose what you're doing in this season. Enjoy what you're doing and be focused in your season. And when that season comes, you will step in. My problem is that I have a hard time looking down. And I feel that I'm confessing. That's my problem, guys. My problem is that I have a hard time looking this. I'm always like, look at what's coming. Look at what's coming. And treasures are coming by and passing by me. And treasures passing by me. And I don't get to smell the roses of God in this season. I don't get to smell the time that I can spend with. You know what my daughters will not have yesterday again. My daughters will not have yesterday again. I only have today and tomorrow. But if I don't enjoy what I have right now, if I don't rest in pleasure, He restores my soul. You know, Jehovah Rapha. I don't even know how to say it. It's Rophe, whatever. He leads me, and He leads me to He restores my soul, and He leads me to places of righteousness. And in Spanish, I can translate. He says, Jehovah Texarkanu. It's a place of righteousness. You know what? I'm really tired of this. As a pastor, it is very hard, and as a person, to work with people like this. The Bible says, He restores my soul. If you are sitting in this place, you must be willing to hear me. You should be willing to hear us, our elders, our leadership, our staff, or whatever you have that is guiding your life. You know what? The first point of brokenness is lack of advices. Is the lack of wisdom. And every time you are like this, you're about to fail. You're about to go down to the hole. You know what? He restores my soul. If I tell you something, and somebody tells you something, no, get it ready. Don't sound like this. We're not trying to step on you. We're trying to help you. And I've done that in my life too. Every time someone comes and talks to me, and suddenly I put my shield up. And if you feel, like say, Kevin come and talk to me, if I put my shield up, there's something not wrong with Kevin, there's something wrong with me. Let me keep going. Yeah, I walk through the valley of shadow of death, and I will fear no evil. Let me go ahead and read it here. Even if I walk through the valley of a shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. And I love this part. I love this part, guys. I love the part of even if I walk through the valley of shadow of death, there's if you can translate that, it was a place of darkness, place of heaviness, place of darkness. He was referring in a physical place, but I'm just going to refer to in a place that you don't have the sun, you don't have the light of God, that you feel you're walking without revelation. You feel, where is God? Is God not speaking to me? And you feel that your prayer times is just an empty place. You're speaking to a wall. And that wall doesn't answer you. And you keep pressing. Where's my healing? Where's my salvation? Where's this? Where's my finances? Where is everything? And you're just knocking the door and knocking the door and knocking the door and knocking the door. And you don't feel anything. So the Bible says, Jehovah Shammah, that's where the Lord is. When he was saying that, even if I walk through the valley of, he was referring to Jehovah Shammah. You know what it means? Jehovah is present. He said, even if I walk through the valley of death, I will feel no evil. But that translation, he was referring to Jehovah Shammah. He said, even if I walk through the valley of shadow of death, Jehovah is present. Even if I go through whatever, Jehovah is present. Even if I go through Walmart, Jehovah is present. Even if I go through the hospital, Jehovah is present. Even if I'm driving my car and there's an accident, Jehovah is present. That's why your daughter, Jehovah is present. Even if I go near death, Jehovah is present. And David said, even if I'm facing death, I'm facing divorce, I'm facing brokenness, I'm facing the lack of forgiveness, I'm facing everything in my life that I'm facing, I know that Jehovah is present. That's why he said, Jehovah is present. I will fear no evil, because evil don't have access when Jehovah is present. And I start saying that every time I have to a doctor's appointment and I know the place it's dark and big, that there could be coronavirus there. I go there and I wear my mask. I go with my mask and I say, Jehovah is present. I wash my hands after works. Jehovah is present. Jehovah is present. Jehovah is present. I love that part, David. Thank you, David. The rod and the staff comfort. I think I'm speaking too much. Let me keep going. The rod and the staff comfort. I love that part, because if you see the rod and the staff, there were two tools in one. They had the staff, and the rod was something to bring the sheep down and rescue them, but at the same time, a pow-pow. But David was saying, your pow-pow comfort me. David, you're weird. Even when I feel that the Lord is pow-pow me, that brings me comfort. It comforts me. What's the word? Comfort me. That comforts me. I did this wrong. God is saying, I'm present. You did this wrong. Oh, that comforts me. There's a difference here. If what the voice of God makes you leave the house, it wasn't. The voice of God will always sound strong, but will bring comfort to you. If you're hearing condemnation, papi, that's not the word of God. The word of God will tell you the truth. You did wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You did wrong. But that voice will sound like the rod. Let me bring you back. Jehovah Nissi. The Lord is my stand and victory. And I'm gonna lay it here for a couple of seconds. You know, Israel never got the total revelation. The revelation of the three ways that God fights for us. There's a way that they saw it was that God fight for us. And you can see in the Bible that they were like there, and God fought for them, and the enemies were killing themselves, and they don't even have to do anything. That was a part of God fighting for them. There's a part of God fighting with us. He's with us, and He's fighting side by side with us. So you're feeling sometimes you're sitting in your house and suddenly breakthrough, bank call you and everything you have to, like George, you have $200 more in your bank account, and how did this happen? I don't know, but God was fighting for you. He was beyond, He was He was fighting in the place that you were resting, doing nothing. He was fighting for you. You have something with Pastor Jeff. He said something to you, who said something to Pastor Jeff, and it didn't work. You were separated for, I remember, 20 years and whatever, and suddenly Jeff called you and asked you for forgiveness. You were doing nothing, thinking about nothing, and God was working for you. God was fighting for you. That's the type of things that you're doing nothing. You're not praying for it. You're not fasting. You're not doing anything, and God is fighting for you. You have a broken marriage, and suddenly your wife and your husband come and, well, let's bring reconciliation. That's when God fights for you. When God fights side by side with you, you feel the burn of the battle. You feel the heat, the sound of the air and the flights and whatever you want to see. You see God fighting with you, and you feel tired because He's fighting side by side with you. But there is a fight that David learned here. He said, you prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You know what? Let me make sure you are clear here. The enemy is not your mother-in-law. I know you don't like her, but she's not the enemy, okay? Any word like looks similar, she's not the enemy. She could, no, she's not. I'm just saying, we're not talking about any men here, okay? Any men. You know, I hate when people pray against all. I heard people say, Pastor, pray against my mother-in-law. She's a da-da-da-da. How can I pray against a daughter of God? Somebody said, pray against this person that is in the government. Her name starts with Ann. Pray against theirs. Pray against Donald Trump. Pray against. No. How can I pray? Even whatever they think, whoever they are, their ideas, the thing they think or the thing they move forward, whatever, they still sons and daughters of God. And how can I pray against a daughter of God? I pray for a daughter of God, that God will do it, and for a son of God, but I cannot pray against it. So in this table, there's no space for any person. So God prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You know how this looks like? And it is so funny, and I'm going to finish with this. You know what? You know, one of our problems in our lives, and one of my problems too, we invite to our table so many voices. Everybody has access to you. And everybody has access to change what you know you should do or you shouldn't do, whatever. There are so many voices in our lives. And we invite to our table people that they are probably good, that God sent them for a season, for a reason. But right now they're not part of your table anymore, because as you grow, you change to your food. And as you change your food, there are even people of influence that will come to your life. So what happened, David said, God is preparing a table before me. I'm not even preparing a table. I'm right here. I don't see God fighting for me. I don't even see, let me move it right here because of the lighting. I don't see God fighting for me. I don't even see God with me. I don't feel God. And this is the point where we get lost here. When you don't feel God fighting for you, or God fighting side by side with you, but you feel nothing. You're praying to an empty wall. You're praying to something that is not responding to you. You're praying for breakthrough in your finances, and you're still getting bills and bills and bills and bills and bills and bills. You're praying for your husband to come to Christ, and he's still worse and worse and worse, and drinking more and doing more and doing more and doing porn now. And you're still praying for your kids, and you say, where are you that you're not fighting for me, and I don't feel you right with me? Where is God when we don't see Him, when we don't feel Him? I have learned that my daddy will always be with me. So there is no point, no space, no even a second that he's not with me. But in the time that I don't feel him, he said, anytime that you have to face a giant and you don't feel me, I'm not fighting for you. I'm not fighting right next to you. I am preparing a table before you in the presence of your enemies. You know what? In this situation right here, and I want to open my heart with you. We have no control. Let's move to January or February when we didn't have a virus that was killing thousands of people. We didn't have people killing themselves and destroying things. Everything was like kind of like, let's do it. Let's do it. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's here. But suddenly this happened. And now Lincoln County is they're putting a red code or whatever that people need to wear masks. And it feels in our lives. And let me just tell you, I'm only 32 years old. And I'm breaking my head and my brain. And how do I lead this family? How do I take them to the next level? How do I keep them saved? What do I do? You know the main point here? I don't know. I don't really know what we're going to do and what's next. Just doing the best I can. I'm here at the table and say, Papa, I don't know. And I hear the voice of fear saying, someone will get sick. Someone will get sick. And this is not a voice that I heard 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. Since the beginning, someone will get sick. It will be on you. Doesn't wait on you. I have another voice here say, not only they will get sick, your family will get sick. And shame is right here saying, you've been saying that he's the healer. What if? Temptations over there. Just give up. Do it. And I'm right here. And I don't feel God. I don't feel him fighting for me. I don't even feel him right next to me. I'm praying to an empty wall. I feel him when I'm worshiping. That's why I want to stay in worship. I feel him. But every time that I have to make a decision, I go to the secret place. What? Tell me. And I keep hearing one thing. I am the healer. I am the healer. I am the healer. I'm choosing to believe you're the healer. But you better do something. You better do something because I'm desperate. I don't want you to think that we have control over anything because we don't. We don't even know what's coming tomorrow. We don't even know how long we're going to be here. We don't even know how long this is going to last. But he said to me, I am preparing a table. And very soon, fear and them will stay at the table. I'm not kicking them out. But you're going to eat with me in front of your enemies. And when I start, he said, wait for the moment that I start healing and releasing miracles and miracles and miracles and miracles and miracles. And the fulfillments of the prophetic words of Family of Faith that we are a healing center, that people from LMH will send people here and people will get sick and say, wait for that moment. And when fear comes to you, say, remember, there are people coming through those doors and they have coronavirus and you still have people here that we were exposed to that. And before, I want you not to hear fear, but you start eating because I prepared this table in front of you in the presence of your enemy. I don't want you to believe what I'm believing right now. I want you to protect yourself. I want you to be wise. I do want you to be wise. I want you to keep the separation. I want you to wear a mask. I want you to do everything that you can do to make you be saved. But I'm right here at the table waiting for him to do something. And the only thing I feel in this season I should do is not be there or here. It's just be here. And past the test of shame, fear, and everything that's speaking to me right now, I don't feel I should stand out and walk away from this table. I feel that I'm standing here. I should be focusing in my daddy fixing a table in front of me in the presence of fear, in the presence of cancer, in the presence of desperation, in the presence of everything, because I know that I don't feel him fighting for me. I don't feel him right next to me, but I know somehow he's somewhere preparing a table for me and for us in the presence of my enemies. I'm not giving up. He said it. He said he would do it. And I'm believing that he will. And I know you all believe that. Let's just be wise. Do whatever you can do to keep yourself saved. I'm not against that. But believe with me that he can do it. Believe with me that what if, instead of people getting sick here, what if people start getting healed here? What if instead of people not getting healed here, what if we start seeing the greatest miracles we have ever seen in our life, because we kept believing that he can do it. He can do it. I'm not creating this. This is not an illusion. I know you know that. I know I go back to that same scripture that he said, I am the healer. These signs will follow those who believe. And I'm not saying with this to not take care of yourself. I'm saying with this, let's focus on God healing. Let's focus on God ministry and God breaking through the LMH system, and God breaking. The other day somebody called me and said, Pastor, should I come to church wearing mask? I say, you should. You should. I'm not against any precaution you want to make. I'm not against that, guys. I'm just right here. Desperate with so many voices. The only thing I can say and think about is, you said it to me. You said that to me. I heard you clear that you are the healer. I know, I believe that you are the healer. You can do it. And I know he can do it. And I will die thinking that he can do it. And I have the faith, and I know you do too, that he can do it. What if, guys, we start making all the precautions we can do? We start doing everything you can do to keep yourself safe. And I'm not against that, please. But what if we come to service and we start living a life, and I know you're ready to do it, but what if we intentionally put more effort to be that extension of the healing power of God in this earth? And let me just finish with this. And I know I said that before. And this morning, I normally wake up at 6 to prepare everything, but I woke up at 6 and I was gone. Took my phone. I said 6:30. I can't. 6:30. Okay. I want us to pass this test this way. This is my goal for Family of Faith. And Rachel, please, if you can come to the keyboard, please, and the worship team can come here for a second. I want to finish with this, but this is my goal for Family of Faith. How we passed this test. And God gave me this morning in my living room with a cup of coffee. With my headphones, I didn't want anybody to wake up. And I said, this is what I want you to do. I heard his voice giving me guidance. He brought me back to Moses and the Israelites. Moses came to say and told them, you know what? Tonight, the angel of death will come to Egypt. And the primogenitos, that's firstborn will die. Every firstborn will die. And Moses, probably Moses at the beginning before the other part, Moses says, what about us? And God said to them, I want you guys to do this. First, this is how I want you to pass this test. They went to their house and closed the door. And you know what? This is the second time that we celebrate Passover. The same thing they did in the beginning. It was an angel of death, and there was a threat. God said to them, go to your house, focus in your family. He said, go to your house, be obedient. So if God is saying you to do this, do it. Even if God tells you, do not come to the building anymore, but watch it online, please do it. If God even tell you, do not come, not even online, come and stay in the parking lot and pray for the service, do it. If God tells you to come here and be up here up front, please do it. Do not do anything I'm telling you to do. Do everything that He tells you to do. God told them, go to your house, close the door. And the second was, mark your door and put a sign of protection. That's what I do every night in my house. That's what I do almost every day when I go. Sign of protection. The blood of the Lamb. The blood of the Lamb. The blood of the Lamb. You know what? They didn't put the blood of the Lamb and went out. No, they were obedient. I'm not saying you to say, blood of the Lamb, He will protect me, and be like you're a superhero and go and do whatever with something that He didn't call you to do. I don't want God telling you to say, God telling you wear a mask, and not just wear a mask. I want you to wear gloves, and I want you to wash your hands every 25 minutes. People could say that's too much, but it's not too much for you because that's what God said to you. Even if people say that's too much, no, that's not too much. Too much is to add to what He said. And if I'm doing what He said, I'm doing it right. Because as soon as I'm obedient, if I'm obedient, I have protection. If I'm disobedient, I'm getting out of the mark. Mark your door. Stay in the place of obedience. And then in the third one, and the last one, look at this. Is this. Start a party with your family. Stand up for a second. You don't give. They did this. Okay, guys, come here. We all have to. God said He will kill everybody tonight. Firstborn, the angel of death will come. But He said to mark our door, stay in the house. But not just stay in the house, freaking out and feeling the screaming and yelling of the firstborns or the families that were losing. Stay in your house, bring your family, cook and have a meal and celebrate that He got you. I'm not saying to forget about the world. I'm saying we need to pray for those who are sick. But I want you to pass this test this way. Don't let people put pressure. Because as soon as you put pressure, you got out of the pleasure. I want to pray for you this morning, and I know where God wants to do something different. But I want to go back, Rebecca, please, with this song. You don't give your heart in pieces. And I want to, if you feel that you've been overwhelmed through this season, and it's okay, guys. Don't feel like, I don't want to go out front because I feel strong. No, it's okay. I'm telling you, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not saying okay, I am overwhelmed. But that stops today. Stops today. Everything that doesn't bring pleasure doesn't have space in my life. Please help me. Keep me accountable. If you're going through something this morning, you say, I need to walk in the pleasure of God. And I promise you, it will be a couple of minutes. I want you to stand up or come here. If you don't want to come here, stay in your seat. But if you feel that this is a season that's been dragging you and taking energy from you, and you want to say, okay, I want to be free. I just want to be free. Walk in the table. Be in the table, sitting at the table. Let's just sing together. And as we sing, I want to invite you to come up front. I just want to take a second to pray for you, give an impartation.